when in Rome.
I also saw Reggie Wayne taking a nap
I love
on
that.
on the side. Like he was posted up in a chair
Give me
next
that
to
every
the
time.
workout bench or the bench press, and he was just like, that was pretty funny.
Just living. Love that shit.
I took a lease out on your heart. I took a lease out on your heart. Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun?
Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we're on a quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Daniel?
Evidently I'm doing great. All of a sudden I'm feeling fantastic. Tournament time, couldn't be happier. How are you doing, Christian?
I'm good, man. It's here. It's finally here. The Rough Draft Research Dynasty Rookie Tournament.
Ooh,
I
real
don't even
rough.
know what is this, the sixth year we've
This
done
is
it?
the sixth year, yeah.
Well, sixth year of the podcast. Did we do it the first year? I think we
Hell
did,
yeah,
right?
dude. This was
Okay.
liquid gold. This is
So
what started the movement.
sixth annual tournament. So yeah, I mean, you guys, if you haven't been with us before, you probably have, but if you haven't, um we
This is
do
it.
a March Madness style bracket round of or a tournament of 64 names uh encompassing the West division, the Midwest division, the Atlantic division, and the Southern division, and take players from all of those places, and kind of just throw them together and see who comes out on top in terms of our opinions on their dynasty value. That was a terrible explanation, but you get the gist. So today we're going to start in the South. Now, again, if you haven't been here before, Southern states not included in the South. Anything that touches the Atlantic Ocean, because I needed a fourth division, and that was the easiest way to do it. So sorry, Georgia. Sorry, Carolinas. Sorry, Florida. You are not considered the South for this specific thing. But other than that, yeah, so let's crack into it. So we've got the number one seeded KC Concepcion up against the number 16 seed in Talon Green, quarterback out of Arkansas. Concepcion being the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. And the way the seedings work, just in case you're ever curious or think somebody should be different, is basically I took the PFF big board and just lined them up where they appeared. So the higher you were on the big board, the higher seeded you were for your division. So that's why Concepcion ends up as the one seed. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting matchup. I mean, Ta Talon Green really, really showed out at the combine, but I don't know if it's enough for me to want him more than Concepcion.
No, there's no contest here.
Yeah.
Concepcion is the one seed for a reason, and Green is really just making it in off pure athleticism.
Hmm.
Um, I did a little profile on him earlier in the year, and I thought his passing game was decent, but it's not up to the level of the NFL.
Hmm.
Um, but he goes out there and totally crushes it in the athleticism and his rushing metrics throughout the year were out of this world. He had 994 yards and 8 touchdowns. And a big chunk of that was after contact. So he's a muscling through. He's a strong guy. 46 missed tackles forced. This is insane. So there's the possibility of him pivoting off of the quarterback position,
Hmm.
and so there's spice there. But I mean, this isn't, you can't change positions and upseed a number one guy, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that is the most exciting part about him. I mean, for if you've missed the combine or don't know the numbers, Talon Green, 6'6", 227, ran a 4.36, which is a record for quarterbacks, had a 1.55 10-yard split, same as Omar Cooper, had a 43.5-inch vertical, that's a record for quarterbacks, an 11-foot 2 broad jump, which put him in the 100% category for the burst score on player profile that we like to look at. Just incredible. And like he's an intriguing like dart throw at quarterback, but what would make him really interesting is if somebody does convert him to wide receiver. Now, can he play wide receiver? Can he even catch the ball? We have no idea. But just that athletic profile. I mean, you think of a guy like Terrell Pryor, that did that and had 1,000 yard season. Now he didn't do much other than that, but that's the kind of like intriguing factor here. And then you never know. Maybe he does get out there and play quarterback, but his career numbers for quarterback aren't amazing. I mean, completion percentage of 60%, a 53 to 32 touchdown to interception ratio, and he actually had 23 fumbles. So as much as he's
Yikes.
yeah, good at breaking tackles and can run through people with that size, he doesn't hold on to the ball every single time. So like there's a lot he needs to work on, but I mean, when a guy gets 2,500 yards and 30 touchdowns on the ground throughout his college career, that's like good running back numbers. So there's a lot here to be intrigued about with Taylor Green, but like you said, I don't think it's enough for a guy that's like probably back into the first round, second round wide receiving talent.
All right. Well, forget about him.
All right, so Taylor Green stays here, and Casey Concepcion moves on in the round of or from the round of 64. All right, so now we have the next matchup. We've got the eighth seed and Chris Brazel II, wide receiver out of Tennessee, going up against the number nine seed Robert Henry Jr., running back out of University of Texas San Antonio. He is filling our number nine seed, which always goes to the small school standout. Those have sometimes really, really fun players, sometimes just the lowest school guy I could find that was at the combine. So kind of hit or miss on the small school standouts. And I don't think he has enough to beat Brazel, but I do
No.
actually kind of like Henry a little bit more than some of the other small school standouts. He's got decent size, 5'9", 196, so not like incredible in terms of when we do our running back episode every year. It's not really where you want him to be, but just outside of it. He was actually second in yards after contact per attempt for the guys in our tournament, and he was tied with Jeremiah Love at 6.9 yards per carry. Obviously, competition level a lot different for University of Texas San Antonio, the Roadrunners, as opposed
Mhm.
to Notre Dame. But he does have a burst score of the 80th percentile, which you know me, I love that 70 and higher. Just really is something I'm looking for in that burst score. What does make me a little worried about any sort of upside on Henry, he's only had 1 year production and it was at a small school. He did have 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns this year, and he is on the PFF big board at 213, so he does make it in. In terms of his running style, I do think he like makes these sudden bang cuts, and he does make defenders miss fairly consistently. He had a 70-yard touchdown against Texas A&M this year, which also a lot of the running backs had a good game against Texas A&M, so I don't think their run defense was that good. But he takes the ball, immediately has to like jump cut to the right because of penetration up the middle, and then he shrugs off like an arm tackle through the hole, and then just hits that 1 foot, like one step cut on the safety, and the safety almost falls over. Super fun to watch. Go check that play out. He had six 70 plus yard plays, which is, really good. But I'm concerned that speed isn't going to hold up at higher competition levels. I mean, we saw him run, what, a 4.5 something. I have it somewhere here. Where did it
So
go?
4.52.
4.52, which isn't terrible. But at the next level, I'm not sure it's going to hold up speed wise. But I do think he has a lot of traits that make him like a sleeper consideration, landing slot dependent. But I don't think he has the upside to ever be a superstar.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got a play style that made him stand out in the smaller school environment, like you're saying. 60% of his yards were on carries of over 15 yards, so he's an explosive runner, and but it's his little setup steps,
Hmm.
they look pretty casual,
Yeah.
and I wonder how that translates to the NFL. But he knew what he was doing, and he did it well where he was at.
Yeah, for sure. So I do like him. I'm intrigued to see where he goes. Probably like a fifth, sixth round pick at best for Robert Henry Jr. And which is not enough to get him over Chris Brazel. So Chris Brazel's moving on in the through the round of 64, and Robert Henry Jr. is going to stay here. Now, if you're wondering why we're not talking about the winners that much, if you haven't figured it out, the progression of the tournament will get us to talk about everybody. And that's why we like doing this. It's not necessarily about upsets or whatever or like an actual tournament. It's more just hitting as many prospects as we can in a fun manner. So we will talk about these guys at some point. That said, let's go the number 5 seed, Jack Endries, tight end out of Texas, going up against Eric McAllister, the wide receiver out of TCU. He's the 12 seed going up against the 5 seed tight end here. Uh, this is interesting to me. It's like two potential undrafted fantasy free agents after your rookie draft. You know, I feel
Yeah.
like if you do a 3 round rookie draft, I don't know that either of these guys make it, but I do think
Hmm.
they have some potential and like skills.
They definitely do. I think that I probably was leaning towards uh, injuries.
Okay.
Wow. But after getting into it, I got to go with McAllister, man.
Okay. That's where I went.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the on the field evidence, the production and the volume for him is undeniable. He's going over 1,100 yards, and his yards per reception are 16 and a half,
Hmm.
with 7.9 yards after the catch per. It's pretty outrageous. He had a ton of volume for this tournament. He was in the top three as far as volume goes, and
Hmm.
so that's impressive. Pretty consistent production and like across I do my rankings and kind of highlight who's got the best in each category, and he's got top tier numbers down the row. There's some red flags. Drops were a bit of an issue.
Hmm.
He had 6 drops, was just about 8%, 3 fumbles, and then the contested catch game wasn't spectacular.
Hmm.
He had 11, which was a good number, but he had 29 contested targets, so it kind of makes you wonder. But I liked him, so I'm giving him the thumbs up. I don't know why I talked about him. He's winning. We'll talk about him next week.
No, you're fine. I agree. I think this was an interesting matchup to me, so I ended up talking a little bit about both guys. I went with McAllister as well. He just
Okay.
produced more, looked a little more dynamic. Obviously, he's a wide receiver. It's a hard comparison, but 1,173 yards. That was second in the guys in our tournament at wide receiver. 560 yards after the catch from McAllister, which was third in our tournament, and he was tied at first for missed tackles forced for wide receivers at 27. So I just think he has some juice that I was excited about, and like watching him, it was easy to see why that he's intriguing. But Andrews is not a bad player, man. I am a little worried that he transfers over to Texas and then has like his worst statistical season. He had 346 yards, which was 8 out of 10 for our tight ends in the tournament. Only 161 yards after the catch, which was also 8 out of 10. 1258 for his entire career. But they both have problems. So it's like kind of pick your poison. Like you said, you mentioned the drops for McAllister. He had 13 drops throughout his seasons in college. And then injuries just, even his highest end production wasn't that great. And then you throw in like his subpar run blocking grades. I just
Right.
am worried about him seeing the field early. And it was where McAllister, I don't know that he'll see the field early either. He's like a projected fifth or sixth round wide receiver. There's other tight ends that I like better than injuries. And if they're both going to end up being dart throws right now, I'd rather lean on their wide receiver.
I feel you. I think that, yeah, having a nice production at the combine, that 4.62 is a
Hmm.
nice number for injuries,
Yeah.
and decent size at 6'5", 245. So he might get, some decent draft capital, but I think, yeah, the production wasn't very impressive. So I got to pass on him.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so we got Jack Endries, the 5 seed in an upset falling, and Eric McAllister, the 12 seed, moving on past the round of 64. All right, so now it's the 4th seed, our first quarterback, Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama, going up against the 13 seeded Mike Washington Jr., running back out of Arkansas. Um, Man, I just don't really like this QB class. I'm not gonna
They're
be
gonna get rolled here.
yeah, I'm not pushing for many of them moving forward. Spoiler alert. Uh,
Oops.
and Mike Washington just hits too many boxes that I like at running back. He's got good size, 223. He had a 90th percentile burst score and a 4.340
Yeah, he
at
sealed the
223.
deal.
I'm all in on that. So yeah, I mean he's a little old for a rookie running back, but we'll deal with that later. Moving on to Simpson, then, since it seems like we're in lockstep. I think he has a potentially decent floor, but there's a lot of QB, but there's a lot of QB needy teams in the first that like are just skipping him. If you go by mock drafts, now we'll see where he actually goes. But Simpson only has 15 starts. He only has one season of production. It was a good year, to be fair. 3,561 yards, 28 and 5 on the touchdown to interception ratio. And when you watch him, you can see why he's a good decision maker. He's got pretty good accuracy. He seems functional though, not like overly impressive. Some comparisons online I've seen for him. You got your Brock Purdy's, your Mac Joneses, your Daniel Joneses, your Zach Wilson, and Bo Nix. So kind of like a wide net in terms of um, production level and like success level at at the NFL level. But I just don't. I see all them because he is like a fairly athletic dude. He's got some juice on the move. He's tough. He can deliver the ball when he takes a shot. I don't think he looks that good against pressure, which you probably could have said about any of these guys coming out of college. If Simpson ends up in like a favorable scheme, like where some of these other guys are, your Shanahan offenses, your McVay offenses, stuff like that, then maybe I'll look at him as a dart throw, especially in a super flex. Uh, but if I'm gonna take one of these guys, it's probably gonna be Washington.
For sure. Yeah,
Definitely gonna be
Washington.
Washington.
I mean, he just rocketed up with that 40
Yeah.
time. That was outrageous.
Hmm.
A big guy that can move. Um, but like you're saying, with Samson here, it's Simpson. Sorry, Samson. I I like it what he does. I mean, he can deliver the ball and he's got good pocket presence. Decision making is decent, but I always hate on these like Alabama quarterbacks that aren't over the top because they
Mm.
seem to have the best O lines in college football. So
Yeah.
if you can't just have the like, statistically insane results, then it makes me kind of wonder what your ceiling is. But it's not a lot of competition in this draft class, so he's probably gonna easily be a second round pick to a quarterback needy team. Someone take a dart throw or maybe back up a vet. So if he gets in the right system, like you're saying, he's got a ton of potential. There's so many places that could use a young quarterback that can surprise. So we'll keep an eye on him, Superflex for sure, but ain't nothing he can do about Mike Washington.
Yeah, I agree. So Mike Washington, the 13 seed, upsetting the number 4 seed, upset special right now with Ty Simpson falling. Next up, probably another upset. We got the 6 seed Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback out of LSU, going up against the 11 seed Deshaun Stribling, wide receiver out of Old Miss. I do not like Garrett Nussmeier. He's too up and down for me. Obviously, this was a bad year for him last year, or 2024. He had a much better year, 4,000 yards, 29 to 12 touchdown to interception ratio. But this year, you're looking at 1,900 yards, 12 and 5. I know he didn't play the full season, but like, I don't know. I kind of did a profile on him earlier in the year, and he does some fun stuff. Beautiful rainbow throw against Clemson to the front corner of the end zone that looked awesome. Then the very next drive, he follows it up with staring down double coverage and throwing right to it. Inconsistent accuracy against South Carolina led to a couple cool touchdowns, but then also bad interceptions. He went 2 for 2 in that game. One, he just literally overthrew a wide open receiver that went to a corner or a safety, which, that happens. But I'm just not overly interested in second and third round quarterbacks to begin with. And I would rather take a fourth and fifth round wide receiver with a couple high end traits, like a Deshaun Stribling, who ended up running a 4.36.
Yeah.
Give me that at 6.2 over second or third round QB.
Yeah, like you're saying, that's why they didn't impress this year. He's 24 now. It's kind of maybe, I mean, maybe we should have known. He had a great season. The prior year would have been 23, would have been a great time to come out and get drafted. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's like I'll make more money with my NIL deal than I will flopping in the NFL. So here we go, run it back with the Tigers. But anyway, I'm with you. There's not much to say. I think we all kind of understand what's going on with Nussmeier. He's probably going to get an opportunity to be a backup
Hmm.
and prove us wrong. But I think Stribling is a guy that I've been excited about for a couple of months now, and to see him put that 40 down
Yeah,
really just took me over the top. So
I'm with you. So Deshaun Stribling, moving on, another upset to through the round of 64, and Garrett Nussmeier is staying here. So next up we got the 3 seed tight end Eli Stowers. I'm not sure. I always mess that up. But tight end out of Vanderbilt, I know that part. Going up against the 14 seed running back Jaden Ott out of Oklahoma, kind of. Uh,
kind of, yeah.
and I feel bad because I do like Jaden Ott. I talked about him earlier in the year, but there's no way he takes down Stowers.
Yeah, Sowers had himself a nice little combine, and
Hmm.
the rest speaks for itself. Um, you mentioned with Ott, like he's coming off a peak that was, pretty far removed in 2023,
Hmm.
1,300 yard season right there. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't know how optimistic I am to see what he has. It's just fairly middling in the statistics the past 2 years, and the size is fine, but he's not super fast.
Hmm.
He's not super young. He's 23. So it kind of makes you feel like he could break out and have a nice year or two, but I don't know if the opportunities are going to be just like pouring out for him, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'll keep an eye on him because I mean we saw it with a couple guys. I mean I know I always bring this up, but like the Chuba Hubbard of it all, who has already fallen off pretty much again. But we saw him have a bad year after a really great year and then was decent. And
Yep.
maybe Jaden Knott could do that kind of same thing because 2023 was a great year. He also has like dual threat ability, 736 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns in 3 seasons, not including Oklahoma because he basically just dealt
Doesn't
with
count.
injuries the whole time. Yeah. And there's stuff to like about Ott. Vision and patience. I think he has a really nice skill set there. But I mean, it's going to be all the injuries. If he can overcome the injuries, he's still on the PFF big board at 132. So like people
Wow.
still believe in him. I'm intrigued to see where he goes, but he's looking like a sixth, seventh round running back. If he ends up somewhere with like a low end running back room, I'll keep an eye on him. Maybe throw in an undrafted claim on him in a rookie draft, and
There you
just
go.
hang on to him on a taxi squad, just to see if like if he ends up starting one year because of a bunch of injuries, like I think he could produce. Maybe not crazy, and probably not for very long, but he's a guy I'm interested in watching. But yeah, no shot against Stowers.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly.
All right, so we got a tight end, Eli Stowers, moving on, and Jaden Ott staying here. Next up, we've got the 7 seed, another tight end. We got Michael Trigg. He is coming out of Baylor, and he's the 7 seed going up against the 10 seed in Dion Burks, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. And holy Burks, did he have a combine? That was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
that was insane, man. I mean, I guess you were there,
Yeah, I
yeah?
was there. Yeah.
Did
Hmm.
you see this
I did
one and
see
you're
this.
like,
It was one
"Whoa,
of
did where's the cannon?"
Yeah, that was one of those that like because at the combine they don't put the times up for the first guys that are like the first time they run the 40. When they come out at least not in the stadium. I don't know what they do on TV anymore. But
Oh,
they run the first one. It kind of shows you who's running sometimes, and then other times it doesn't. Like if the combine is on commercial on real TV, then that's the feed you're getting. So you don't like you have
oh.
commercials. So he was one of the guys that ran, and I was like, who the fuck was that? Like I was like, good Lord.
Don't know.
Yeah, because like you can kind of follow it alphabetically, but they also do it in different groups. So like Sometimes some Bs aren't there when they should be. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I was very shocked when it ended up being Deion Burks. I mean, I know he had speed on tape, but I didn't think a 4.3 flat is what he ended up
Yeah.
getting. So yeah, I mean 5'10", 180 kind of leans to a slot guy, but yeah, I think he takes this matchup away from Trig, based
What?
on athleticism alone.
Okay. Well, agree to disagree, my
Yeah,
friend.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's pretty impressive what he did there with the 4-3 flat. Um, unfortunately, Trig doesn't have any numbers for the
Yeah.
speed, but in this class, and I'll just talk about him because, I'm not going to argue with you. You saw with your own eyes. But in this class alone, he blows me away as far as what he did production wise. He had 694 yards.
Hmm.
His yards per reception were 13.9. He played nearly 70% in the slot. Missed tackles for 17. That's the most in the tournament for the tight end position. A dot was 11. So he's doing aggressive, deep field catching at a high volume. He had 50 catches, and all while being, fairly slim, as you would imagine. He's 6'4", 240. But a guy like that, you want to see the number. You want to see how fast he really is. So with that question mark, he does leave the door open for Burks, but I like his film a lot. I think he's a pretty gritty guy for being slim like that. The drops are a little concerning. He had 7 drops. That's 12%. I don't love to see that. But I do think he brings a nice physicality and a good receiving prowess and some good experience to the next level. So I'm going to consider him as a viable option
Okay.
for a tight end needy team in the third round, possibly with my rookie draft. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, he is a matchup nightmare, like you said. Big frame, quick and fast. I would have loved to see the 40 time, like you
Yeah,
mentioned. He's got really long arms and good hands. I when I did a profile on him, I brought up that insane one-handed catch against K-State. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, find it. Highlights are very high, and like I kind of think you're right. People are gonna fall in love with him. I'm just worried that he's gonna fall into that like Isaiah Likely realm where it's like he's just a receiving threat that maybe falls into rotation on strictly only passing plays, where they're rolling two tight ends out or whatever. Because his blocking needs work. He had a 46 run blocking grade from PFF last season. I feel like the effort was inconsistent when I watched him, but the highs are there. I think he's just got extremely high upside and he's super volatile, but so is Burks.
for
Like
sure. Like this is a tough one. I didn't
yeah,
know.
so I mean, if you want to push through Trig, I'm
Oh
willing.
no, nah, dude. I'd
Okay.
like to dig into Burks. I like where your head's at. I trust your judgment.
Okay, cool. Well then, but I am with you. It's not that I don't like Trig. I just think, I
It's
mean, they
clear that you
both,
don't like him.
yeah, yeah, I
I'm just.
fucking hate him. No, no, I like Trig. I just, I get worried that he gets
Sorry.
pigeonholed into not having, at least early on, for sure, not having a lot of opportunity, which Burks may not either. But I think, uh, like a fast slot guy could really turn some heads, and we'll see where they end up going. But I do think they're both like late second round, early third round guys in the NFL draft.
Yeah,
So
and I think NFL loves speed. It's not too late to get a fast slot guy and make the X factor, add him right in next to DJ Moore and Bills Super Bowl champions yet again.
there,
Here we go.
there we
Oh
go.
wait. No, that's never
Um,
happened, never will.
oh shit, getting the Bills taking a L in a big spot.
You know
Um,
it.
so all right, so we got Deion Burks moving on, Michael Triggs staying put. That's why we need a tiebreaker though. That would have been fun to see what a maybe an AJ said about that one.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
All right, so our final matchup for the South round of 64. We've got the 15 seed wide receiver out of Mississippi State, Brennan Thompson, going up against the 2 seed wide receiver out of Alabama and Jeremy Bernard. Um, my sizest is coming out pretty hard with
Yeah.
this matchup. I can't get behind Thompson being a consistent producer at the NFL level, despite his 4.2640.
Yikes. 426. That's absurd, man. You got to put a little weight on though, huh? 164 pounds.
164 pounds is just not
This
enough
guy, I
for
saw him
me.
get tackled by the wind once. It was a bad look.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
dude, this is yeah, I mean, you gotta get up early to beat GB. You
Yeah,
know what I
for
mean?
sure. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, I mean, if you look at the list of guys that had really fast 40 times, like John Ross killed it in the 40. Xavier Worthy still has potential, but he hasn't been like phenomenal yet.
Right.
It's just if he had even just a little more size, because I mean, look at somebody like Tyreek Hill. He's 5'10". There's not a big difference there between 5'9" and 5'10". Maybe if
So
you ask girls on
what it is.
Tinder, there is. But other than that, it's not
I
that big a
never would.
deal. But then 164 pounds for Thompson compared to 184 for Tyreek Hill when he came out. So that's 20 more pounds of solid muscle that just Thompson's not going to have. And I just think, regardless of his absolute blazing speed, um, I think it's gonna be too inconsistent, whether that be through injuries, whether that be through just offense that he's in, the team that gets him, the limited role. I just think there's too many factors that go against Thompson for me to be really excited about him. Um, so I probably won't want him on my dynasty team, but I do think he's a guy that will have some pop games because he cooks people. I threw on the tape. This was not a guy I was super familiar with before the combine, to be honest. And then I threw on, like he made the short list for our tournament and then was on the outside looking in, and then the combine put him in. And
The
he,
short list, it's a 5'9" joke.
uh, he absolutely cooks people on a hyper consistent basis. Um, but I don't know, man. I mean, you look at like the other parts of his game, the contested catches, he's 35% for his career. He was 33% this year, 6 to 17. I, and he's just going to get pushed around, I think, at the next level outside of when he blows past somebody, which he will do. But good luck figuring out which weeks those are.
Yeah, not a guy that you're going to start actively, even if he does start to pop, I think,
Yeah.
trade bait only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good for him. Good to be fast, but you gotta be, physical. So maybe he can get little pop, but I think Bernard holds it down
I do too.
pretty good. So, man, it feels good. Feels good to be talking about these guys. Feels good to
Yeah.
be rapid fire stat comparing these gentlemen, and they're in my
We're back
spreadsheet
in it.
now.
We're
That's
back
right.
in it. All
Come
right,
at
so
me.
just to recap the round of 64 for the southern portion of the bracket. Number one seed Casey Concepcion beats Taylon Green. Chris Brazel, the eighth seed, beats Robert Henry Jr., the nine. Eric McAllister beats Jack Injuries, the 12 seed, going over the fifth seed there. Mike Washington Jr., the 13 seed, beats the fourth seed in Ty Simpson. Deshaun Stribling, the 11 seed, beats Garrett Nussmeier, the 6 seed. Uh, Jaden Ott loses to Eli Stowers, 3 seed, beating the 14 seed there.
Hey.
Dion Burks beats Michael Trigg, 10 seed over the 7 there. And then Jeremy Bernard, the 2 seed, moves on while Brennan Thompson stays put in the South. So we're going to be hitting you with 2 episodes a week while we do this tournament. For the most part, every
Yes.
now and then, maybe not, but for the most
We'll
part,
see.
2 episodes a week. So you'll be hearing shortly from us about the Western portion of the bracket. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
All right, stay in school, kids.
I took a lease out on your heart.